Well, look, a very sensitive situation. Self-help expert Dr. Pam Spurr is here, and she believes flower tributes are a good way to help those mourning. And journalist Helen Croydon, she disagrees and thinks these tributes are a bit of a nuisance. Tell us more, Helen.
Well, you know, I've never bought flowers and laid flowers publicly for anyone ever in my life, and I've had
graveside. Would you do it graveside?
No, and this sounds awful. I've had friends whose family members have died, and my own father died, and as a family, we didn't even lay flowers for my father, which sounds awful, but we marked our grief privately and personally and preferred to share memories. And I feel the same with anyone personally who's died. I've sent an emotional letter to their relatives, and I think there are much better ways of doing it than tokenism. And I think this sense of floral tributes, it's a social more that we've created, and most of us in this country that do go and lay floral tributes, most of us are not religious, and we just do it because we think it's a thing that we should do, and it's a product of consumerism society, in my view. It's something that we think we have to buy, that's covered in a ribbon, covered in plastic, that ends up on the ground, and that people with more money can buy bigger bouquets.
Well, I was just going to say that, you know, who are you to judge how someone should grieve? Just because you and your family chose not to use flowers, for some people this really connects them to a trauma in their life. And we heard after the Manchester Arena tragedy, how many of the survivors and families said they felt comforted that so many people took a time out of their day to lay a tribute. And the other thing is, of course, you know, we're not a nanny state. Just because you say this is consumerism, why are you the person to tell people how to spend money?
Of course, no.
I think people need to feel, in a country where we are so bad at grieving, any way that we can learn to grieve is a good thing.
There's a time and a place. You can have a public vigil or a silent march, as the members of the Grenfell community do quite regularly. But to do it publicly and have it like on the roadside where everything's gonna rot. Well, because it could be, because I'm not just talking about the Hither Green case now and the Henry Vincent case, I'm talking about generally
and with the Hither Green case, I do not think
with George Michael's floral tributes up in North London, they become a hazard. People slow down. If they're on the road, people's cars slow down to look at them.
Well, then someone's got to clear them all up.
I think there are much better ways and much personal ways of doing it.
One of them
you can choose not to look at those things.
No,
and
no.
Of course, you can drive fast, but that's a choice they make. Now, the thing is, when you think about a star like, say, George Michael, you can never underestimate the power of his fans.
So in England, people aren't buried for a couple of weeks and the bodies are immediately put into a funeral parlour.
You'll be run scared from grief and death.
But to use your argument, if you die in hospital, should then each bed that someone's died on should have a wreath over the top and said, you know, nearly died here?
Context is important in that. We're talking about public places where someone like the fans of, say, George Michael or after Manchester.
It takes away the grief from the real people who are grieving, the victims.
No, it doesn't. It does.
It does. When the thing happened with Diana, it does. Don't you remember? They might not want these public.
But don't you remember? It's hardly as if we're tripping over shrines on every corner. How often have you actually come across a shrine? I've come across one.
I think when we do,
that's not my experience.
Shrine,
well, that's on a little leafy lane and just hanging on a tree.
Well, we must leave the debate there. Often people see this floral tribute.
We need to learn to grieve as a country.
And it creates this morbid curiosity.
I appreciate you dressing as your argument today, which is flowers. So you sort of,
I love flowers.
Well done. Thank you to both of you.